actually really rare to find, like other than like right here in these booths, it's really rare to find an Alaskan as a bus driver. See, I like being a tour guide. I love showing you guys my state. So now as we're driving down here, so this is Franklin Street, this main drag that we've been on here. So this is Franklin Street. So this is like literally where Juneau started at. Because the mountainside used to come down to the curve here. And this, where we're at right now, we're so photobombing. Oh, yeah, I'm going to photobomb on my bus. But basically, this curve was the mountainside, and where we're at right now is water. So, you know, this originally was water, so we should be floating right now. But the reason why it isn't, as Juneau progressed and got bigger and bigger, they had a lot more mines, active mines in this area, and one of them was the Alaska Juneau mine. The Alaska Juneau mine was pulling out 28 tons of ore an hour. And now that, you know, by today's standards, okay, that's a fair bit, you know, nothing crazy. But the thing is, though, it was all done by hand. So all by pickaxe and shovel. So when they have all this extra rock and all the tailings stuff, you know, they've discarded, they realized, well, we need more flat land in downtown. So they literally built it with those tailings. So right now we're actually driving over gold because there's always a little bit of residual gold in the tailings.
You pave your streets with it?
Not quite. But as Juneau progressed, it started down here on the shoreline. But the gold that we're going to go gold panning, you know, the place we're going to go gold panning is where they found the gold originally. Big chunks of gold and stuff like that. But it's up in the basin where we're going, Last Chance Basin. So they realized, why are we camping down here on the shoreline when we have to hike every day up there? So they moved into the basin. And then, you know, as more and more people came up here and they heard about the gold discovery, they actually formed a community in the basin to the point they're, you know, so elaborate they even had a baseball diamond. Now, as they got more and more people, they obviously outgrew it because it's a valley. So they came out of the basin, came out to this area here. This is what we call Old Juneau. And then as, you know, they progressed and got bigger and bigger, they moved down towards the water line. So that's why all the local shops are on this end, is because that's the progression. It happened, you know, from the hillside down into the water. After that, there was a guy named John Muir. You guys probably have heard of the John Muir Trail and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, he was up here and he said this area, this region of Southeast was highly mineralized. So that kind of set into motion, like more and more people coming up here to explore. But at that time, Alaska was part of Russia. So they didn't just allow anybody to come up here and wander around. So in 1867, when we bought Alaska from Russia, that pretty much opened the door to this area because now we owned it. So in 1880, two guys, Richard Harris and Joe Juneau, you know, last name Juneau, they came up here with Chief Cowie as their native guide, you know, to kind of guide them through the forest here, because at that time this was an old growth forest, 1,000-year-old trees. So he guided them up here because he wanted to trade the gold that he had for items that they couldn't have. So basically like blankets, metal tools, cooking utensils, you know, stuff we could mass produce at that time, they couldn't. So he figured, let's trade the gold for that kind of stuff, because he knew we wanted it. So Richard Harris, Joe Juneau, and Chief Cowie came up here to this very basin. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll kind of slow down here. But if you look to the very back, you see the white line coming down? You guys all see that? So that right there is called Snowslide Gulch. So at the very base of that, there's a big collection. So they came up here to that very spot. And that's where Chief Cowie showed them how much gold he had. So they reported that back, Richard Harris and Joe Juneau reported that back to their boss. And he said, all right, let's get a deal going with these guys. So basically, Chief Cowie was gonna try to use the gold that was in this very creek here, and also back there in the Snowslide Gulch, you know, purchase these things for his people to kind of, you know, progress them along. And yes, that's the creek we're going to be panning in. Okay. That raging river out there. But don't worry, we'll be safe. We've done it before. That's why we have life jackets, waders, floaties, helmets, lime. Yeah, we'll be fine. No, this ain't like rock crawling.
Side of the tree. That is facing north. Moss grows on the north side, remember? There's also moss on this side of the tree, and it goes all the way around. But more moss.
Oh, no, that whole moss on the north side thing here in Alaska, that don't work. There's moss on all sides. Yeah, this morning when I came up here, you can kind of see how wet it is on the reel there. That's how deep the water is.
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah, we didn't do it up here. Alright, so first thing you do when you get your pan is you add a little water to it. So you see what happens? Instantly, see how that mud comes up? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to stir this, and we're going to try to get rid of this. See what happens even more? So what we do is we pour this off. See, I didn't really pour out any of the sand. I just poured the muddy water off. And you get some more, and I'm going to keep on changing this out. Okay, because what we want is we want clear water. Because if we start working this right now, and I slosh it like that, I don't know if I just threw out gold. Okay, so I want clean water. Because if there's anything on the top, you know, I can just pick it out of it. There's a piece of gold over there. So we pour that off, get some more clean water, and we keep on doing it. And depending on how much sand you have, it might take 5 or 6 times. You know, you just keep on doing it. So now what I've got it clean, I'm going to hold it here. And if you're lefty, hold it here, wherever you want to hold it. But basically, I'm going to start settling this away from where I'm holding it. See, now what settling is done, if there's any gold suspended here in the sand, basically me doing like this is allowing that gold to kind of sift its way down to the bottom of the pan. Okay, guys? So you settle it down. So after you cleaned it, after you've done cleaning, you don't have to do it anymore. Right? Don't worry, there's a bear behind you. But after you've cleaned it, you don't have to clean it anymore. You just start settling it down, okay? And you notice how I'm doing it at an angle, like this. When I'm settling like this, I'm trying to get anything, like any of the gold suspended in the sand here, to go down this angle here. Anything up here to go this way. Here's the lowest point of the pan. Okay, so I'm trying to get all my gold to collect here in the bottom. So now that I've got it settled, you know, being optimistic, hopefully all the gold's at the bottom. But I'm going to hold here and I'm going to work this way, okay? So this is called my working edge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the water, and I'm going to go back and forth into the water. Okay, great. As you see, I just run it back and forth in the water, and the wave that comes in basically grabs that stuff on the top and brings it out of there. It's kind of like a wave at the beach. All right? You guys from Maryland, you have beaches. We don't. We have a shoreline that's got rocks. Yeah. But you can see, again, so after I've worked it a few times, I just came right back up here and settled it. I didn't even think about it. Okay, I've been gold painting most of my life. But basically, every time you run it through the water, every few times, you stop, and you come back and settle it down again. Because as you're working it, you see how things start moving? Any gold that's still suspended and being stubborn obviously hasn't gone to the bottom. So I want to give that thing as many chances as possible to get to that. Your step. Now you notice something. See the black sand here on this edge? So that black sand is a good sign. Because black sand is heavier than all of that other gray stuff you had in there. So whenever you start seeing black sand, just start slowing down real quick. Because if there's any gold, it's going to be hanging out with the black sand. Okay, the heavier things are going to go to the bottom, lighter stuff to the top. So now if you've done this correctly, you should not see gold. Which I know doesn't make sense. We're here to find gold. But you can see how everything's kind of sitting against that edge. Like I said, slides this way and slides this way. Did you see any gold? No.
Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my
Move
god!
that little guy out of the way. So how about that? So now watch what happens when I settle. Where does the gold go?
To the bottom.
It slides down this side and hits against that edge, and that's where it sits. Yeah, so that's a gold. See, now what gold painting is obviously I'm not going to get rich off that. Yeah. You know, that's probably about $1.50 in gold. But what you're doing with gold painting is, let's say I took this scoop of dirt right from here, okay, and I found that. That's a good start. So that means there's gold in the creek. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 10 feet this way, and I'm going to gold pan in that area, a couple of pans, see what I find. If I don't find anything, I'm going to go another 10 feet. Again, if I don't find anything, obviously nothing's going that way. So now I'm going to come back to my original spot, go 10 feet that way. If I find some, I'm going to go to another 10 feet. So basically I'm trying to place where the gold is with my gold paint. Because once I find that, then I can start bringing up my sluice box. Then I can start bringing up my spinning wheel. And stuff that I can basically move some sand with. You know, not just my little bit here. So that's what gold painting is about. If you want to get rich quick off this, well, there's a gold nugget right out there. I'll hold your feet while you go get it. Alright? Alright, but you guys see now how to gold paint. So that's pretty easy, huh? So let's come up here to the creek. Up here. So you basically come in here, you get your eyedropper. Now you, excuse me, always clean it out first. You know why? So basically, let's say you're up here yesterday and you used this eyedropper and you found some gold, but you sucked it up too fast and it ended up in here. All of a sudden, when I come through, you can't see if it's in there now. I'm going to come through and clean all these out. I'm going to get your gold. Welcome to Alaska. Yeah, always make sure you clean it out. Also, whenever you have water in here, don't squirt anybody with it. Because that is rude. Okay? There's such a thing like that. I mean, come on. Who does that? Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our eyedropper, squeeze the black end first, and we're going to come in at a shallow angle. And all we're going to do is saddle it next to the gold and start sucking it up. Okay? And now I can get it all at once, there's not that many pieces, but basically I get it all in there. I'll come over here to the vial, open it up. See, I did that one-handed? Lots of practice right there. I'm going to tap it. Yeah, I'm going to tap it down in there, so if any gold gets stuck up here out of the water, the tapping, forces it down into the vial. I'm going to clean it out. I don't want to mess up the hair. So I'll clean it out. Now you see the black sand that's in there? The same black sand that was in the pan. See all that fuzz on there? That's also black sand. As you can see, it doesn't come up. The black sand is magnetic. So kind of condensation out there, so watch this. See it kind of pulling the stuff around in there? Okay, so now all this, other than being really cool, all we're going to do is clean this out. So we tap the side. See how the black sand comes up to the side here? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go up the side, and I'll watch the top of the vial. There. That worked that time. And there we go. There's my gold. A few little bits in there. Not bad.
Awesome. This looks like the gold.
Yeah, now we get back on the bus. I was showing you how the guys vote. Hey, don't get that.
Oh, it's cold. Whew.
You try it, Ian?
Yeah. Hey, they're already numb. Oh, wow. Got my hands full of Dad, you really should try it.
Wait,
Really
geez,
try it.
it's cold, it's freezing. I should try it.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Try it because you need to know how freezing it is. Ah. Where'd it go? How did you do that in one?
At first we had the place to ourselves with Matt, but now another group arrived, and they're a big group. How much?
I found 7 pieces.
Yeah.
And then 2 in my first vial. So that's 9. I got 9 pieces of gold. Man. Mom, do you have the other